was rolling out everywhere last week when we were on the pod, and it's
Can I
fully
talk
out now,
about
isn't it?
my experience first, and then we
I
can
would
roll
love to
into it?
hear about it, mate.
Because you've
Yeah.
probably got the better opinion.
I
So
don't know. I think you've got the better opinion, to be honest.
it's been out for what, a week now, probably since
Yeah.
the last pod.
Mhm.
So I have a few opinions. I don't know how true they are, but as time goes on, I guess we'll see. But as an overall, first thing to know, as an overall app, excuse me, as my experience with the app, I actually really like the app, and I like the concept of the app. I think it's cool. I like the fact that you get berries and you can make stews and you can feed the Snorlax and you get different Pokemon. Like, it's a simple idea, but I kind of like it. I'm just like, I rate this. So as we discussed, there are two ways, for those of you who don't know, to use Pokemon Sleep. You can A, use your phone. You have to have it on your bed face down, which is what I did for this week. Or B, you can buy the Pokemon Go Plus Plus, which was what Lee has, is what was dangling in front of the camera a moment ago. So those are your two options. And so for me, I'd never pre-ordered it. It came out last Friday in the UK because it was a lot of money, and there's a lot of hot topic. There's a big debate about whether it's worth the money. It's arguably worth the money for Go, as we've mentioned off camera, and a lot of people have said that. But for Sleep, I'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, so my experience was, I used my phone. So first night, after we recorded the podcast, which was last Tuesday, went to bed. I was like, oh, damn, download Pokemon Go, set it all up, went to bed. And what I decided to do first night, because I was worried about it moving while sleeping, right? Because the whole point, you're meant to leave it like face down on your bed somewhere, or on your pillow, or whatever. And so I was like, I'll put it under the pillow, because I was like, that way it won't fly about anywhere or just go flying off the edge of the bed. So
That
wicked.
makes sense.
I was like, makes sense. Went to bed, set it up, set it under the pillow, went to bed. Woke up in the morning, and I opened the app up, and it said the app crashed because it was causing the phone to overheat. So I was like, sweet. First night went really well. Apparently I only slept for 1 hour. So I was like, okay, fuck. I was like, this is not great. I was gutted. I was actually really excited to see what's going on. So then I had to wait till the following night. I was like, okay, fine. I'll just put it on the pillow next to me. Whatever happens, happens. I just want to see what it's like. And I put it on, and I was like, sweet, it worked. I woke up in the morning. It said I slept for a certain amount of time. I did all the fun stuff. I collected the berries. I worked out what Pokemon I'd found and the sleep types that I was. And I was like, yeah, this is really cool. But then, so one of the things they advertise for you to do is to charge it on your bed. And as I mentioned previously in the last podcast, I don't really like having my phone on my bed, because I was in a really bad habit of going on to it in the morning, and it's just horrible. Like, I hate going on my phone in the morning, especially as soon as I wake up. I used to do it all the time, because I used to have it on charge next to my bed. My alarm would go off and I'd go straight onto my phone when I was like half asleep. And so I have a habit of putting it on charge on my desk now, and it's been amazing. Like, would highly recommend doing that if you're the type of person that goes straight on your phone in the morning. Like, it's really good. And so obviously I'm not charging it, because I haven't anything set up to charge it on the bed. I didn't really want to charge it, so I made sure it was fully charged, put it onto my bed, and then in the morning I had basically lost all the battery from my phone, and I was like, sweet. So basically, if I want to use it and I don't charge it up fully, it will die overnight, because that's how much it drains. Because although it dims the phone brightness to like a tiny amount, the app is still running, and it has to run in order for it to work.
Yeah.
And so I was like, kind of gutted. So I tried it a few more times. Same thing happened. Same sort of battery drain. But I still kind of enjoyed waking up and be like, oh, I got this, I got that. Checked it all out. Seeing what sleeping type I was. And I was like, oh, I actually love this idea. And I was like, I don't want to keep using my phone. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go look at reviews of the Pokemon Plus Plus. Pokemon, whatever it's called. It's really confusing, okay?
Yeah, sorry, mate. That's my fault.
No, it's not your fault. It's just like a stupid name. Why call something Pokemon Go Plus Plus, or just call it something different? Anyway, so I was like,
I tried Googling the Pokeball Plus Plus and got like no results for the longest time. And I was like, why not? It's like a brand new product. It's coming out very soon. Why has no one got it? And then I realized I was Googling the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to your point.
So I was like, granted, in all fairness, before I say what I'm about to say, the device has not been out for long, and so people have probably only had it for a week. I don't know if it come out in America a bit sooner, and
Yeah.
so I was viciously looking for reviews of the device because I was like, I want to know how good it is, whether it's worth the money. More importantly, is it worth it just for Pokemon Sleep? Because I want to use Pokemon Sleep, but that is the current only other alternative. And I was like, okay, so I looked for loads of reviews. Most of the reviews talk about how good it is for Go. And as we've discussed, if you play Go, it's actually a sick device. So I was like, okay, that's fine. It took me forever to find one review that the guy was. Again, this is where your experience, you can comment on your experience with it, but I found one guy who talked about it just specifically for Pokemon Sleep, and all he said was that he had problems with it. The biggest problem he had was he couldn't work out half the time whether he'd actually set it to sleep mode. I know it's meant to like make a noise, but half the time he said it didn't work, and he said it was just like a gimmick. He just basically got really frustrated with it, and I was like, I genuinely want to use this app. And I wanted it to be good. I mean, granted, this was one review from one person, but I mean, that's all I could find. Maybe we'll get more reviews. Maybe they'll update. I don't know if they can update it with firmware or whatnot, but like, to me, at the moment, you can speak to your experience in a minute. I think what they should do, and I don't know, maybe they've got this in the pipeline. I think they should develop a wearables app for whatever smartwatch you wear, because that makes the most sense, especially if it's tracking your sleep data as well. Like if you have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, right? Those are the two things you need to do. Like just develop an app for that. It would be way better. Like for those people who don't want to buy the Pokemon, even if they charged it for like a tenner, like I'd still buy it. I'd be tempted to go buy a smartwatch just to wear at night for Pokemon Sleep, because it can actually track your biometric data properly and your heart rate. Because at the moment, like I think it's just pulling numbers out of its arse. Like how does it really know? Especially with the Pokemon Plus, like it's not, as we mentioned last week, like a lot of sleep data is taken from your heartbeat, because it can tell when your heartbeat slows, and when your heart rate increases, you're probably turning more, and like when you're in REM sleep, your camera's a little bit out of focus, by the way. I don't know if that's
there we go. Gonna get it.
Nope, still out of focus.
There we go. No, mate, that's exactly what Tash said to me.
That was basically my experience with it.
How can this device track your sleep when a smartwatch can't always track it accurately? Come on, camera, do this thing. So I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think when my Apple Watch doesn't, and you know, I did track my sleep through my Apple Watch for months, and it was never correct. It was always like off a little bit, or it would say I was sleeping when I know I wasn't. And
it's the best thing we have, right?
It's the best thing you've got, and it's the most accurate thing you've got, like attached to you. So it does make me question. It's like, how accurate is this? I don't think it's an accurate measure. I don't think it's anything to judge your sleep by. And it's interesting what you found out about the Pokemon.
There we go.
The Pokego Plus, whatever we're calling it. This device.
So what is your experience with it? Break us down.
For Pokemon Go, I am so pleased I've bought it. I think it is worth every penny for Pokemon Go. I love this device for Pokemon Go. I had a great time using it over the weekend. It got delivered Friday, and I used it all over the weekend, and it was amazing, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I think it's a great device for that. For Pokemon Sleep, though, we were recording our data from the last pod to this one, okay? So I'm going to be honest with you. It has been a massive chore doing it. That is all it's felt like to me, a massive chore. I had the same issue as you on the first night with the app. Not that my phone overheated or anything. It just didn't record any sleep data for me. So it was a complete waste of time. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to do it the next night. I'm going to wait till my Pokemon Go Plus arrives, and I'll do it with that. So that arrived on the Friday. And yeah, I would agree with the guy. I think it's not very obvious when it's active. And I have a little young 4-year-old daughter, and she loves everything like this. So naturally, she wanted to play around with it,
Mm.
and it's cool. I'll try and activate it now. I think I know when to activate it when it's active. You press and hold the button, it goes blue like that. But then it should sing.
Yeah, that's what I
Like
heard.
Pikachu normally sings, but it's not doing it now. So this is like a classic example, right? So Pikachu sings. She finds out the cutest thing. So she's like cuddling it and asking if Pikachu's actually inside. And I'm like, of course Pikachu's inside. Um, so she set it off multiple times throughout and over the weekend. So when I went to bed, not realizing that it had already been active through the day and been like sitting on my desk when I hadn't been using it, it actually been tracking sleep there. So in the morning when I woke up after tracking my sleep, it wouldn't. There was like 2 sleep cycles are being tracked, and it didn't count my actual sleep cycle. It counted the one from earlier in the middle of the day when it had been sitting on my desk, and then I obviously got loads of random sleep like cycle stuff and Pokemon from it, which was just weird. So I was like, okay, I'm kind of playing it. Last night I did it, and I guess it was kind of accurate. And I got my first shiny Pokemon this morning. But mate, honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna continue like with the app. To be honest, I
Well,
feel like
this is the
tonight
thing,
we've
right?
talked about it this week on the pod, and I'm like, I don't need to use it tonight. I don't really. There's no compatibility with home, so I've got no incentive to play it because my one big incentive would be I'll play it and then I can port the Pokemon to home that I can use in like Scarlet and Violet, which would be kind of cool. But there's no incentive to do that at all there. There's no kind of additional stuff like Pokemon Go's got, like loads of different things that makes Pokemon Go a really good app that I actually enjoy playing. It just felt like such a chore doing it every night or trying to do it every night, really unsuccessfully, even with like both ways of doing it. And I just think I don't know. I don't know. It's a novelty, and I do not. It's sad to say it, but I don't see it lasting. I think it's going to be one of those things that kind of. Oh yeah, do you remember Pokemon Sleep that took like
But
4 years
like,
to
yeah,
develop and then
I don't
it
get
just
it.
disappeared?
You feel
Yeah,
like they would like this is the problem as basically what you described after seeing that review for the Pokeball Plus Plus thing. I was like, okay, I'm just not going to use it anymore because I don't want to have my phone on my bed, and this is the only other option if you don't want to have your phone
yeah.
on the bed. So it's like I was actually quite sad. I was like, oh, I guess I'm just gonna
Mm,
delete it. It's like what? It's really frustrating to me. But like,
yeah.
if you had it as an app on your smartwatch, you don't even need to tell it when you're going to sleep. It just knows because your
No.
resting heart rate drops.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
then
just
any
like,
time during the next day, you can go on and check that data
yeah,
because it's there.
it just
You know.
it
I
doesn't
think
make
you've
sense to me.
hit the nail on the head with it. It needs to be a smart device, like a smartwatch
Yeah,
that you
hundred
wear
percent,
or
hundred
wearable,
percent.
because otherwise it's just no good. And it was cool. I'll try and show you. I got a shiny Caterpie this morning. That was kind
Ooh,
of cool. But at the same time, it was like I didn't really feel that. Like I was honestly every morning I've been going in to try and sync up and it failing and saying I've got 2 sleep cycles or whatever. It's been a chore to get through the screens and be like, I just want to put this down and I don't really want to do anything with it. And the only reason I'm doing it is so we can talk about it today on the pod. And I feel like I have given it a chance because I have persisted with it, but not for me, mate. Not something that I vibe with. I'm pleased I got this device because I think when we go to like Go Fest and stuff next year and
mm-hmm.
other events that I'll be doing with Pokemon Go, I think it's really great. It's really great. I love it. I think it's a brilliant device for Pokemon Go players. But if you're buying it solely for Pokemon Sleep, I would definitely consider putting the money that you would put into this into just buying yourself a smartwatch and going down that route if you're worried and you want to track your sleep, because that is a way more reliable, way more less tedious way of doing it, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I don't really think there's much to say. Really, it's really sad. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they'll do something with it. But we'll have to see. The problems you just described, I think, are what it's going to put a lot of people off, but
Mm,
it just does seem
yeah.
weird based on the amount of development time they've had for this. Because it could have been a home run, really. Even if they made their own sleep tracker that you could wear on your fucking wrist, I would buy the shit out of that.
Yeah.
All it
Yeah.
has to do is like a Pokemon watch, bro. All it has to be. I don't care if it was 150 quid or even more than that. If it was a sick like Pokemon watch that you could wear that also works with Pokemon Home and or Go as well, it just seems like a no-brainer to
Mate,
me.
they missed a trick as well because you know the Pokétch device that you've got in Pearl,
Yeah,
Diamond,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Platinum. Like, just make a watch like based on that. Like, how cool would that be?
Yeah, no, yeah,
Like,
I agree. That is one of the coolest things from Pokemon game, and like
yeah, it's like
the
you could put all the little like things in that you've got in the Pokétch, like the different things in there, and it actually has a sleep tracker on it. And
right, it
yeah,
would not cost them a lot of money to make, and people would buy the shit out of it, bro. It's
of
just
course they would.
so many things. I mean, obviously, we're not we're not them, so there's obviously reasons why they haven't done it. But things like this, I just unless they're just lazy and they're just like we don't need to do that because people still want to use it. But it just to me, it would be really cool. But
Mm,
I don't know what the direction they're gonna take with it. Maybe they've got a plan to do something like that, or like who knows? But it just seems weird that it's kind of almost dead already. I mean, haven't heard many people playing it. Like, I've
no.
kind of I haven't seen anything anymore of people playing. I've seen a few people mentioning it, but like, I feel like the hype's just gonna die down within the next week or so. Not that there was
Yeah, I
much
feel
hype
like it's
for it,
gonna
but
be.
the user base at
Yeah.
least will drop. I think they'll see a massive drop in user base, but
Mm,
it's strange, very strange to me. But I guess we'll just
yeah.
have to wait and see over time.
Wait and see how it plays out. They may do some updates and make it a bit more interactive or refined. I don't know, mate, but we'll see. Yeah.